right, we made it. Day
Yes,
2 of
we
the
did.
new look. Hi, CJ. How are you?
Hey, hanging in there. But
Excellent.
we made it.
I'm Mark Sudduth, as it says in the corner. That's CJ Morgan, and our various handles to find us on pretty much all of social media.
Yeah.
And this is Talking Weather. It's now Tuesday, the 10th of February in the year of 2026. And as I like to call it, the 6th year of 2020.
Yeah.
So good to see you guys. We'll throw a little ticker up there, and welcome to Talking Weather. Got a good show for you today. We're going to teach you a few things about RadarScope later on. That's for our good friend Brad. And we'll take a look at the topics in just a moment. This is what we call our banter session as people get their notifications and start signing on. So as we banter in chat, we'll throw the YouTube chat up there as it shows up. Do I have to do something special, or do we wait for people to actually post something in the chat, CJ? Because I don't see anything there yet.
It should come up as they post. So I'm wondering.
Well, post something, people. Come on. Yeah, just yeah. So let's see if I click on chat. So yeah, we do have a few chats in there, but they're not showing up on the banter in chat. Gremlins already.
That's awesome.
Show on stream, yes, and they're not showing. Well, that's
Weird.
a glitch, but it's good to see. We see the chats over on our right hand side, but they don't show up on the stream. So
yeah, it's weird that it's doing that this morning.
Well, anyway, that won't stop us. If yesterday's internet outage didn't stop us, then that won't stop us.
Right.
Maybe we can get them to pop up at some point. Show on stream, yes.
There it is.
There they are.
And you could take away probably the QR code because they're a little bit obscured.
We can move it over here, or how do I take it away?
You just go same place. You pull up there was the chat.
Yeah, that's weird. It should work there.
It's weird. All right, just leave it alone.
It'll be okay. Let's don't break it. Let's don't break it. Well, we're good to see everybody. Karen and William, Bill Mullen, good to see you. Weather Scott, and you guys are seeing the chats. Oh, so they see the chats on their side, but we don't see it.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Whatever. It'll be okay, as my wife says. It will be okay. So let's see. Let's move. Now I can't make the chat go away. That's funny. How do I make the chat go away? I want it to go away just for a little bit here. That's how I make it go away. All right, let's get on with it. I will do the old screen share, and we will show you guys. I think I'm going to do the screen share. Man, I thought I had all my hotkeys ready to go. Still learning, evidently. Oh, I have to click screen share. And are we in screen share, CJ? I guess we are. There we are.
Now you can actually share your screen.
Let's do it. All right. So are you seeing the bullet
got
point, CJ? Thank you. Warm up against, hey, by the end of the year, we'll know how to do this. I promise.
Right.
The big warm up is beginning. And I tell you what, CJ, it's going to be almost 70 here today in good old Wilmington. Yay.
Good.
Do have a severe weather threat looming. How large that looming is remains to be seen. We'll take a look at that. Sierra snow and elsewhere across the west. It's coming finally after a big drop in their precip out there. The lull is coming to an end. And CJ uses the RadarScope, so have I. I started using it in 2012, I think it was.
Yeah, and I started using it probably 2010, 2011, somewhere in there.
Got my first iPhone in 2012. And with it, Eileen Jones from Kitty Code, she did that Hurricane Pro and Hurricane HD and some other apps. She's like, you got to get RadarScope. And I did. And I've had it ever since. So CJ is going to run through a few of the things that we use. We're by no means RadarScope experts. And we're not sponsored by RadarScope. We just, hey, we're customers. We like to use it. And we'll show you guys what we do in the field and so forth to make use of it. All right, so let's get on with it and show you some things here. The national high and low temperatures, one of my favorite segments. And we have a new contributor, Martinez Lake, Arizona.
Wow.
And, yep, Arizona chiming in at 90 degrees out in the desert, part of the Mojave Desert. -34. Absolutely not for me. Forget that. Way up there in Lancaster, New Hampshire, not Pennsylvania, New Hampshire. All right. So, where is Martinez Lake? I know you were wondering. It's along the Colorado River at the Alabama, try again, at the Arizona-California border. And as I zoom out, you can see here where that is in relation to everything else. You follow the Colorado River down, and there it is near the Yuma Proving Ground, not far from Yuma, Arizona, just north of the I-8 corridor. I have been along that I-8 corridor. I've been to Yuma. You ever been out that way, CJ? I know we tested you. So San Diego is pretty much it for you, right?
Yeah. But I've been on the I-8 in San Diego, so I can at least say I've driven on I-8.
So it's funny, now I've lost my lake. I have to get it to come back there. There we go.
There it is.
Not a lot there, so let's take a look at the Google Street View character and see what highlights for us. Because I'd like to show you where these highs and lows happen. And
wow, back in 2007.
Man, really? That's crazy that they had, I mean, like, that's almost 19 years ago, right? That's nuts.
Yeah, don't remind me.
Goodness gracious. Wow. Well, you can see why. And this is, still 2007. Jeez. Wonder what they were using to move along. They've, masked that out pretty good. But, does that say, it says I thought it said Redneck Road. But, this is out in the Mojave Desert, and typically it's going to be toasty out there, especially with the big high pressure in the west, some of that sinking air. That literally looks like some stuff out of Breaking Bad. And I'm on that kick because I've been finishing up the second go-around of watching Better Call Saul.
Okay.
So it's all top of mind for me. You have to forgive me.
Right.
But that's it. That's out in the Mojave Desert, and pretty toasty out there. 90 degrees for the national high temperature for yesterday. What about the low? -34, way up here in beautiful Lancaster, New Hampshire. And if we click on our Street View fella, drop him right in the middle here, see what we see. Very nice. And this was 2023, the middle of summer. Beautiful area of the country.
We were right here the last time.
Yes.
I recognize the bank.
Yes. I got to drop the Google guy in some different spots. Hey, look, there's the Welcome Center right there.
Hey.
The Great North Woods Welcome Center. And you got some kind of a coyote going on over here. Some fierce animal.
Or a wolf, maybe? I don't know.
Wolf, yeah. Something.
Beautiful murals.
Is it attacking the rock or is it just on the rock?
I think it's just perched up on the rock.
It's got a beef with the...
Oh, we lost Mark again. It's been a day. So we're having some technical difficulties, so hold on there with us, guys, as Mark comes back, hopefully, here in a moment. Not sure what caused that, but it happens. Gremlins, what are you going to do? We're still getting used to this. So I just want to go ahead and go through the chat. Good morning to you, Jessica. I saw a couple of folks here in Florida commenting, 72. It's going to be beautiful here today. That's the greatest thing right now. It's finally getting out of that chill that we've had. I know down here in Southern Florida, it's going to be in the mid 70s today. Yeah, you know what, Kathy? It does. It seems like it's the same as yesterday. So it's very strange. It's very, very strange. So maybe I guess we're having some issues with Mark's browser kicking him or something. Maybe we've got to try that out. But, it happens. It happens. So we're just waiting for Mark to go ahead and come back. Because I unfortunately do not have control of the stream. Same thing as yesterday where it's doing the connecting thing. So we're going to try to get Mark logged in with a different browser. And we might have to restart it. So, so how's it going, everybody? Yeah, brief mid-70s. Thanks, Weather Scott. I mean, it's going to be a chilly one for the Northeast, but here in the Mid-Atlantic and the Southeast, it finally getting out of that freezing temperatures that we've been seeing for the majority of the country. Now, let me see if I can get Mark back in. Okay, so I think I know what's going on here. We are probably going to have to do a take two, y'all. Ah, there he is.
But now I've got echo.
Now you shouldn't.
All right. So we're back.
I don't know what. So you just got to refresh the little thingy there. So we got it back, though. Hey, we figured out how to bring you back.
Reanimate me.
Yeah. So I think it's something with your browser. Firefox just does not like Google Street View right now.
So it's the Street View stuff that screwed it up?
I think so. Because didn't it happen yesterday during that as well?
During the Street View thing.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll do some testing another time, you know, unlisted. Seeing you and I should do that. And we'll see if we can break it when we're not in front of 25, 22 people.
Right.
All right.
It's all good.
But still, we don't have the banter in chat. Little gremlins that bother me. All right. So we won't look at Lancaster, New Hampshire anymore. That's fine. All right. So let me get back into composure here. I tell you what.
All good.
Wow.
One thing at a time. We're getting there.
One thing. All right. So as I said before everything went to the toilet again, we're going to talk about the big warm up. We got a severe weather threat, the Sierra snow, western snow is coming back, and a RadarScope tutorial.
Right.
I'll share the screen, and we'll hope that we can get through it this time without calamity. We just won't do any Google stuff. All right. First, though, I got to do the thing that CJ set up. We're going to at least get through this with some of the cool stuff. The graphics, it is this guy. Mark's neat tweets.
Love it.
And these are some tweets that I find them pretty neat. And then we go over here and do this, and I can share the screen from here. Correct, Mr. CJ?
Yep. All right. Just hit your hotkey.
Right. All right. So now let's get to the Mark's neat tweets. So this is one that I saw. We talked about this yesterday, and the tweet that I was talking about got taken down. We're talking about how the drone shots in the Olympics this year are just unbelievable. And so here's an example of that if you haven't seen it. The Olympic drone shot pilots are the best thing that happened to the games, the unsung heroes, period. And the coverage this year is official on another level. So it's like you're watching a video game. It's just amazing. We can finally feel so much closer to the action. It's pure magic. And I'm going to bring up my telestrator. Hopefully this doesn't break everything. Right here where he says we can finally feel so close, much closer to the action. This is relevant because of something we're going to be doing this year during severe weather season with drones. And you think this is spectacular. All I'm going to do, we'll tease it now. We'll talk about it more in March. Wait until you see what we're going to do.
Right.
I know, CJ, you're excited about it. It is going to be incredible. And you think the Olympics are amazing? Yeah. Oh, wait until you see what we come up with. All right. So that's neat tweet number one. Number two. I can't tell if this guy's an Olympian or if someone just pushed him down the hill. That's great. That's exactly what I would look like if, if I were out there skiing at the ripe old age of 55. I skied a lot. Look at that. It's like, whoa, hey, oh, crap, damn, whoa. That's me.
Right.
Yeah, dual moguls at the Olympics. So I thought that was funny and a neat tweet. Third neat tweet. Now, this is spooky. If you were born in the 90s or earlier, you have this freckle on your left arm. And you see that freckle there? And that is not my arm. I am not joking, ladies and gentlemen. There it is right there on my left arm. I kid you not.
You were born when?
In the 90s or earlier. Do you have that? I have it. It's right there, just like the tweet shows.
So I think I have a problem. Mine is covered.
Covered up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, wait, no, there's one right here.
I thought that was really, really weird.
It's interesting.
Yeah. So there it is. And that's just a neat tweet to me. And I look down and it's exactly pretty much where the person in the shot has it. I'm like, how did you do that? All right. Fourth neat tweet. And this is kind of cool, man. Lake Ontario really packing on the ice there.
Right.
Up to 41% now. The biggest single day jump of the winter. And it's the greatest ice cover since 2015.
Yep.
But exactly down here, that's about to change very soon.
Yes, it is.
The warm temperatures, even some liquid precip headed that way. And those numbers will start coming down. So that should be the peak for the year. But that's pretty good, especially on the eastern side of Ontario. Pretty substantial ice accumulation, or whatever you want to call it, ice coverage. So
yeah, it is very substantial, especially for how deep Lake Ontario is.
Right. So in the I'm going to find these graphics and I'll get to learn them. There's one in here that you did about don't believe your eyes. Which one is that?
It's on there. It's labeled.
I gotta find it. He's making me. There it is. So this is a beautiful thing that CJ put together. The world of AI. This one got me again, and I had to look at it. It got past me. And so let's see. We need to undo that and then do that. There we go. Putting CJ's magic graphics to work. Wait until you see this. Now, this is from a Russian Twitter post that I saw. And this was insane. So let me bring it full screen. This is supposedly the snow accumulation in Russia.
Wow.
It looks pretty
like
good.
That foam that they clean the air, like when the airport or like an airport hangar has, you know, like a fire. It's that fire suppressive foam that they drop from the ceilings. That's what that kind of looks like, doesn't it?
Right, but we're talking multiple stories. Like,
I know. I find it funny, but that's what it looks like. It's so weird. Where did the cars go in that first frame? They just disappear.
Right. And so I thought, all right, you know, at first I was ready to share this as, oh, wow, this is unbelievable. But it truly is unbelievable. There's the cars, and then they're just gone. And it turns out, as we escape the full screen, the video is AI generated, does not depict the real footage of the snow that hit the Kamchatka Peninsula there in January. But viral exaggerations like this is fake. But that's pretty good. That's a pretty good AI spoof. But we're talking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stories of snow. That's 60 feet of snow, 70 feet, 80 feet. Not happening.
No. Not happening.
So that was, it took me a moment. I had to dig down in the comments and see what people were saying, and even Grok. It's crazy that AI asking an AI thing if it's real. That's like, nobody asked for this. That's the like, seriously. So there you go. Brave new world. Here we are. So what do y'all think about that? Interesting snow thing there. Let's try to bring the chat back in, and we'll grab them old chats over there, show on the screen, and they just don't like to show on the screen.
Yeah, I don't know why it's doing that today.
We got some more rehearsing to do, but apparently I can at least see the chat, and maybe you guys see it on our screen. See what you guys have. So Oh yeah. So if somebody wants to know, when is the 2020 Atlantic hurricane season coming out?
So Mark, oddly enough, we can't see it on our side,
right.
but it is visible on the stream on YouTube.
So if I do this, show that one. When is so I guess Michael is asking about the ending, like our hurricane highway. Is that what you're asking?
No, so that's one of mine. That's somebody asking me a question on one of my videos.
Oh,
I
the
plan
pair
on
thing.
doing
That's why it
something.
says paired.
Yeah. So this is coming to me from my channel, hopefully sometime soon.
Well,
I
that's
got
good.
a
People
couple
are
that I'm working
interested in your
on.
videos.
Yeah, so I got
I
a couple
like
that
that.
I'm working on. Right now, I'm still working on the January 1999 one that was supposed to come out at the beginning of January that still isn't. So
I like
it
that
is what it
one.
is.
Why is Russia wasting its fire retardant foam when they need all of it to put out all their fires of their own creations? Yeah, good question.
Yeah.
That's a good point. It was the AI, so there you go.
Yeah.
All right. So we will drop the chat back and take that out. And so it's interesting, CJ. So there's the banter, but I think I still have the graphic thing.
You
we
do.
got to do some more rehearsing.
Every time you got to take that away before you switch over.
There we are.
Yeah. Here you go.
So let's move forward. I'm getting a text. Let's see what's happening on the text side. Yeah, we're mad at Google for the version 2 cams anyway. Yes, Jeremy.
Yes.
It's an inside joke between me and Mr. Jeremy out there in Arizona. So let's get back and show you what we got here. We'll get into some of the I got to do the screen share. Sorry. I'll learn it, CJ, and I'll get there. I get too excited. All right. So one of the bullet points for today is the warm-up begins. Right. And to prove it to you, here you go. This is the 2-meter temperatures. The anomalies for 1 p.m. Eastern time today are 18Z. And I see a whole lot of red on there, and all the blue is out over the water for the most part. Meaning that at least through the 1981 through 2010 climatology, the lower 48, a good chunk of Canada, we're all finally above normal, which is welcome change considering what we have seen lately. And this looks like it's going to persist for some time to come.
Right.
A couple cold shots, but they're pretty transient overall. But no major cold spells. Is a little bit trying to come into the Pacific Northwest there out of Canada and even the West. But by and large, CJ, I think as we round out February, obviously you can have these random short-lived shots, but no major. There's one there trying to come in towards the end of the month, but that's way out in time. We'll worry about that later. But for now, yes, we're looking pretty good with the warm-up. All right. So the next thing we need to talk about is the severe weather threat. And for that, our friend Adam Lucio posted this yesterday. The Euro, as you talked about, CJ, has really been amping this up. And he says, dang,
it's been very bullish on this.
Yes. Could be the first legit tornado setup. This is yesterday's 12Z Euro. If the thermos, that's the thermodynamics, manage to improve, extremely impressive overall dynamics otherwise with this compact trough ejection.
Right.
So with all that being said, what do you think about that, CJ? What are the
biggest thing I think for me is going to be the thermodynamics. Right now, the shelf waters of the Gulf are a little too cool compared to what I'd like to see. And it all has to deal with, so it could create a nice marine layer that's very stable, that doesn't want to rise. There's still some question as to where, like how far north the system tracks into the continent, because that'll obviously limit the warm sector. There's just too many variables, even this far out. We just know, hey, there is a chance, and the Euro normally doesn't. It's weird to see a global model showing that. Now the GFS is a lot more tamped back because it's a little bit further south. So it's all a matter of, can the temperature and moisture recovery be enough to overcome any, anything like that? And B, where does the system track? So, but we definitely know one thing is for certain. Friday night into Saturday, you're going to have the first round really is going to be for East Texas and Louisiana and Southern Arkansas.
Right.
And then anything that does develop during the day on Saturday is going to be Mississippi, Alabama, and then it'll eventually move east into Georgia and Florida. The question is, is there going to be enough instability to really have some severe weather through the southern Georgia and the Florida Panhandle and possibly the Florida Peninsula? Anybody's guess.
21Z on Sunday, not ideal.
Right.
For anybody down at the parks down there, but we'll see. We got to talk about the cold air damming in this little area of wintry precip. We'll get there. But let's go back and look at some of the, the dew point's a big part of this. And we were talking about this yesterday. We do see some 60s trying to get out into eastern Texas, Louisiana, streaming straight north. You can see the streamlines there, the flags. Coming off the still very warm Gulf, but the shelf waters are cold, especially on the eastern side.
Gulf. Right.
Yeah. So, not as impressive as yesterday, those dew points. No. Remember yesterday they were nosing up farther to the north. But it's interesting. Go ahead, sir.
No, I was to say the biggest thing is going to be, can that instability really overcome? It remains to be seen.
Yeah, and we're still talking February, so this is not much of a surprise. Now, the GFS, on the other hand, if we go back to the overall, what I just call the weather map, it is interesting because it takes the energy, a lot of it, splits it off. Let's see, rain and frozen. Why is it not doing it? Rain and frozen. Come on, GFS.
It is. Well. There's just no frozen preset.
Oh, that's right. It's different from the Euro. My bad. Sorry. Jeez. Man, not you. I'm just the models.
That's good.
But interesting that the GFS splits the energy with a piece up here and then some to the south, and then that lingers over Florida for a couple of days. Ugh.
Right.
So quite a difference between the GFS and the Euro with the overall evolution. The Euro takes the energy more, and with a low right off of Cape Hatteras.
Right.
So, we're talking 6 days out. No resolution yet. That's the point.
No. And that's the biggest thing. So I'm really waiting to see what the cams have to say about this. So once we get into range of the convective models, we'll be able to get some more information there. The SPC really hasn't outlined anything.
Nope, just some general thunderstorms today.
Yep, general thunderstorms today. Really nothing throughout the rest of the week. I mean, obviously over in California, you could have a few storms, but it's going to be a quiet week. And then Liz Lightman did a great job explaining this in her forecast here, which is, there's some low-end severe potential from Friday evening through Saturday, but really the overall severe potential is going to be limited by the weak destabilization, a somewhat cool boundary layer, the questionable moisture return. We don't know. So that's why they haven't outlined anything yet. Typically by now we would expect to see a 15% at the very least, but there's still some questions. Can this all really get those ingredients to come together?
Yeah, and again, with it being February, there's just not a lot of insolation right now yet. No. Incoming solar radiation, the daytime heating. You got to have the air being buoyant, and that's just not too prevalent.
And realistically, these global models are not great at really capturing what's going to happen. Typically, we don't get a good, you get the overall picture of your, large scale.
Yep.
We know the ingredients are going to be there, but we're not going to get a really good drilled down forecast until the convective models start coming into range.
Yeah. So it's really going to be, Thursday at the earliest that we get a look out.
Absolutely.
With some of the NAM stuff, and then eventually the HER and so forth.
Right.
So, but with severe weather season looming, especially once we get into March, the slower it is now, fine, but just making you guys aware, there could be some potential there, especially on the old Euro here, bringing some severe weather potential to the Gulf Coast states. And then don't want to ignore the possibility of some wintry weather, because the Euro is painting in sort of a cold air damming scenario, where you get that snow to move across parts of the I-95 corridor, maybe DC.
Yeah,
maybe.
That's what I was looking in Baltimore, Washington.
Yep.
Really, maybe down into maybe Philadelphia, some snow.
But
South Jersey,
GFS, not seeing it at all. So interesting.
It's just a wait and see.
Yeah. All right, moving on along. We already looked at the SPC. So yes, big changes coming out west, which is good. They need it. We'll look at the infographic here. Major pattern change across the western U.S. is on track with strengthening troughing.
Good.
Yay for troughing out west. And an active storm track, another yay for that, favoring increased chances of above normal precip following a relatively drier, I'd say relatively, it was definitely drier, period during January and early February. High risk of heavy precip is highlighted across coastal California, and then corresponding moderate to high risk of heavy snow. So during the second half of week 2, the heaviest precipitation risk is forecast to shift northward to the Pacific Northwest. So all kinds of graphics here on the map, the overall infographic, different maps inset with heavy precip and so forth and so on. But the fact that this is happening west of the Mississippi, we need it. So this is a good thing, and we will focus on this more and more. You got to really get it into Colorado there. I'm telling you, CJ, the drier Colorado is, the bigger problems that's going to pose for Arizona. And that connection,
right?
A lot of people don't understand it, but snow and rain in Arizona itself, great. But the Colorado River Basin gets fed from the Rocky snowmelt and so forth. So we'll get into a lot of that geomorphology and how the basins work as we get towards spring, because that kind of stuff's going to be important as we get to the summer and the resumption of fire season. But it's coming. Lots of people talking about it. This is Colin McCarthy. I've cited this gentleman quite a few times. Look at that. California, Sierra Nevada could see 5 to 10 feet of snow along its crest and the western slopes over the next 10 days. Many mountain communities like Tahoe City and Mammoth, that's farther to the south, should see 2 to 4 feet overall. Winter is back in California. And
good to see.
It is really good to see. There's a lot of reasons to celebrate this, more than just the economic variety for our ski resorts. Believe me.
Right.
Good stuff. Salt Lake City chiming in. Don't show the WFO Salt Lake very much around here because it's usually kind of quiet, but they're picking up on the pattern change as well. Active weather returns tomorrow. Of course, that was posted yesterday or 2 days ago. Multiple disturbances producing periods of valley rain and mountain snow through the work week. Again, this is really badly needed.
Yes.
And you can see the outline. There's Utah. I got my telestrator here. I think this is the Wasatch Range down here, if I'm not mistaken. It's been a while since I've lived out in that region. Might have shifted farther to the east. Maybe I'm missing that. But anyway, the mountain snow is very, very important for spring. I cannot highlight this enough for you guys, emphasize it enough.
Yep.
Fire season, Matt Clemens, our buddy Matt in Colorado, he fought fires for a while. That's what he went to school for. And he knows, that you got to get that rain and snow now to help out with spring and summer later. And then finally, one more signal here. I love to see this as well. KSL Matt. And where is Matt located? This is out in California at KSL 5 TV. And I think it's California. At least that's where he's from. Meteorologist at KSL 5.
Utah.
No, it's in Utah. Yes.
So I'm guessing that's Salt Lake.
It makes sense. KSL. Good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I just have to slow down. We've been tracking this pattern change since the first signal around January 30th. Finally, a productive storm cycle will bring desperately needed snow to the western mountains. We will be measuring by the foot in the Sierra Nevada, and that could push 50 to 100 inches of, we talked about that from Colin's post. But again, to keep hammering this, good to see finally.
100%.
But where
it's a big deal.
We're not seeing much out here in the plains, kind of dry.
Yep.
We got wheat planting and all that. I don't know much about how that works. We had to get Harding on here one day. He can chime in. But kind of dry in the nation's midsection. This is the first year in a couple that I have not been out to the southern plains for a blizzard.
Right.
In 23, 24, 25, I think, or maybe 24, 25, I was out there for that. So, and then finally, I want to show you this in the old Rumors of Storms department. This is funny from Maui. The President's Day blockbuster blizzard, this is 21 hours ago, remains in the 12Z global model from yesterday. So let's just go back and look at that real quick. So here is the Euro, and let's look at yesterday's 12Z run. And, oh, yeah, it was giving us one heck of a storm up there in New England.
Right.
Maui was talking about that. But it's beyond day 8. Around day 8, uncertainty remains high. Way too soon to say anything about the impacts, who gets rained, etc. But something is happening.
Something is happening.
Something will develop.
Right.
And then in a related post, apparently there's been a lot of squawking on the Twitter there about gatekeeping weather model output and who is authorized or certified to publicize on social media. And I think that would be an interesting topic, CJ, for a whole show, like a segment about who owns the weather. Like, there is this interesting spat from time to time that we see about
all the
people
time
that post long range model output and the other people get angry about it. And
I saw somebody posting yesterday because there was questions on, I guess, something with the AMS threatening to take away seals if you question the National Weather Service.
Right.
I'm sorry, that's anti-science.
Yeah, I mean,
scientists is people dedicated to the science. You are
if you're not asking questions,
yeah, you're supposed to ask questions. Science is not blindly follow and accept everything at its face value.
Agreed.
And so, if that was the case, we still wouldn't even be allowed to use the word tornado.
Right.
If we were still blindly, So the way that I look at it is this, in terms of official outlets, people will follow whoever they want.
Right.
And you can't stop it.
And I think the more people educate.
And that's why we got this show here. I'm not a hype master. I'm certainly not a degreed meteorologist. I have meteorological training. I've taken, I was a major in college for meteorology. I understand the science decent enough to explain it. But, am I the one that you should be asking about a 7-day forecast? Probably not. But, those who follow, great. And that's what we're here for. We're here to break that down for you and really try to make it digestible. That's all we're here for. We're not here to throw stones per se, but
right. Exactly. And again, with 7 kids, I know how to generally mediate things and keep a sane household.
Right.
And my wife helps out with that, obviously. And, the whole idea of gatekeeping, Maui's got a point there that, I think the more people that talk about the weather, of course, I'm biased, the better. But understanding what you're talking about goes a long way with that, which is a good segue into let me drop this back. I'm going to finally get some of these right. Where's my Tech Tuesday? Where is he? There it is. CJ created these cool graphics. It's time for Tech Tuesday. You did really well with these using ChatGPT to help you out there. The cases, the remote cams look really, you got the Tahoe there looking pretty accurate. Nice. Who's that launching the weather balloon, by the way? Would that be?
I don't know. It was a stock graphic, I think, from Wikipedia. So it might have been an NWS employee.
I've got a friend, Marty, over in Weather Service Lake Charles, and she frequently posts on her Facebook when she launches the weather balloons at Lake Charles.
Yeah.
All right. So I got to remember, uncheck that.
Yep.
And then we do have a Tech Tuesday right there, and that's the theme.
Yep.
All right. So Brad, our good friend out in Rodanthe, asked me on a text message about RadarScope and which things to use, what does this mean? What does that mean? And when CJ and I are out in the field, we're using the RadarScope, and he knows more about it than me because I'm generally just focused on the reflectivity. I use super res, and that's it. And he's over there on his iPad or his laptop or whatever, looking at the dual pole stuff, well, you take it away. I mean, this is your thing. I'm just like,
so, I laugh every time, I laugh every time we're out there. We,
I just say it's got a hook. Let's go.
Yeah, it's got a hook. Let's go. And I'm like, wait. We gotta.
That right.
There's more to this. You can't just look. It's not like a hurricane where you can use just base reflectivity, which is literally the radar sends out a beam and it comes back and it makes all those pretty colors that you see on the news.
Right.
That's as simple as it is. It's very analog. It's it's usable. So I brought up, Mark, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen.
You can share your screen, see if your stuff goes to the toilet. Just don't use Google
sharing, but I think you have to allow me doing it.
All right, let's see. Where does it, where? Oh, yes. Oh, it went away. The little notification, make it come back.
Let's try this again.
All right, I said add to scene.
Okay.
All right.
I brought up what I think is a great example. So this is RadarScope. So this is the desktop version. Just to let you guys know, you can do absolutely everything I'm doing here on the mobile version. There's not
so
really
Brad, on your iPhone, it looks the same there. So take it away, CJ. What do we got?
So right here, we are looking at what is probably one of the most infamous tornadoes of this decade, the 2021 Mayfield tornado. And one of the things that I'm going to go ahead and take away, which if you bring up your layers in RadarScope, you can go ahead and take away all the warnings, watches. When you're in the middle of nowcasting, it gets a little busy. So you don't want all that stuff blaring at you for obvious reasons. It's a little dangerous. So we're going to go ahead and drill down here. This is a supercell. This is a textbook supercell that you would see on, you know, if you cracked open a meteorology textbook, you looked for a supercell. This is what you would see. So what do I notice here? So first off, my color palette's a little different than Mark.
Yes, I'm always giving him crap about his color palette.
Yeah, because hold on one second. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make this a little smaller. Nope, I don't want to do that. Sorry, I thought I had.
We're all friends here. That's the whole point of this.
All right, there we go.
We're just talking.
Okay, so I thought, you know, I could show you guys something a little better. So let me go ahead and change this to what the standard, you know, color palette would be for today. Let me, hold on. Is it going to do it? Maybe. I guess I have to restart. Gremlins. RadarScope on the desktop is a little picky sometimes. Okay. So now this is back. So I just have to.
That looks like my RadarScope. Yay.
Yeah. So I use a different type of reflectivity. Really? Because hold on, it allows me to see more detail.
Right.
But come on, 1210, not 21. Come on, you can do it.
Pulling it off the server.
Yeah, sometimes it takes a minute. There it is. All right, there we go.
What mine normally looks like.
So this is what Mark would normally see. So this is what's called base reflectivity.
All right, Brad, this is what you're asking me about, buddy. Sorry, I'll talk over you a little bit, CJ. And anybody else that's new to RadarScope, this is what most people see by default. It's the base reflectivity. It says level 2. And don't worry about
this. This is just the level 2 data. It's a little bit more because it's archived.
Right.
So typically you would see what's called super res reflectivity. Yep. There's different levels of radar data. I'm not going to get that into the weeds. Just know that level 3 is what everybody typically sees, and that's perfectly fine for almost everything else. Level 2, it gets more detail, so it takes longer between scans. Right. So you don't want to, you know, use that if you're now casting, and it's very important. But most archived radar data is in level 2 because it's more detailed. That's the only reason. So what does this tell me just looking at this? Well, first off, let me go ahead and use this. This is our supercell. It's a very textbook setup. And here is your hook. And that right there, folks, is the Mayfield tornado, the Western Kentucky tornado. That is what we call a debris ball. How do we know that? How do we know that that's not just a ton of rain? Well, we have tools for that. So first, I normally open a dual pane and I use velocity. So velocity here, and you'll see it in there, you know, the velocity product is typically, so you would see super resolution velocity. And this tells me, are the winds pointing towards or away from the radar?
Right. Let me interrupt you, CJ. It's just like a train or a car with a horn on it. And as it approaches you, you hear it. And it does that. That is the Doppler principle, the Doppler shift.
Right. So everything, I think it's greens. Yeah, because it's counterclockwise. Greens are heading towards the radar, which is up here.
Yep.
Reds are moving away. So that tells me there is a counterclockwise rotation there.
Right.
So that's our mesocyclone. That's what a mesocyclone looks like on Doppler radar. A very strong one at that. And what do you mean strong? You can drill down here with this inspector tool if you have the RadarScope Pro, and you can get where you get these colors right up against each other. That's called gate-to-gate shear. That means the wind is moving very fast in opposite directions right up against each other. And when you have that co-located, and by co-located, I mean almost right on top. Remember, these scans are a little out of sync with each other because of the way the radar has to interpret the data. But I know that this area right here is roughly where this should be, just using the forward momentum, right? So that tells me there's something there that I need to look at. But how do I know, like I said, that it's not rain? Correlation coefficient is our best friend. So what this is, oh, I might not be able to, there it is. So correlation coefficient is basically just saying, you know, a low value of a correlation coefficient means that the objects that the radar is scanning are not rain. They could be anything, whether it's animals, ground, pieces of dirt, you know, smoke, hail, pieces of houses, trees. And what I want to point out here is this little donut hole right there. That's called a CC drop. And what that signifies is that something is being lofted high up into the air. Mark, you still with me?
Yep, absolutely. I'm mesmerized.
Yeah. So
I remember what this was like when it happened. And I think this is the one, by the way, that really got Ryan Hall on the map. Just story for another day.
Right.
But yeah, this is a historic event.
Exactly. 100%. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to reflectivity for a second. So what does this tell us? Well, it tells me there's a large tornado on the ground, and I can go ahead and measure across that diameter. I mean, you're talking about a 1.3 mile wide debris ball.
Right.
On one axis and about a mile on the other. This was a huge tornado. Now, what you can also do, and I know Brad was curious about the tilts.
Right.
So what the tilt is the radar operators actually can tilt the antenna of it up into the air. So this is telling me what that beam angle is relative to the horizontal, right?
Right. It doesn't go straight out.
Right. So the lowest tilts keep it at the lowest levels of the atmosphere.
Right.
And using, if you have RadarScope Pro, I can use the distance tool here by selecting my little guy here, this little blue, that it'll actually tell me. So this tornado is 23 miles away and the beam is scanning the storm only 1.4, so 1,400 feet above the surface.
Wow.
So because it was so close to the Paducah radar site. Now, if I go ahead and adjust the tilt, let's do 10%. Obviously, we lose that, or hold on, let's do a 5%. I think that's more than sufficient. So let's tilt the radar beam up. So if I do that same thing again, look at the difference in the height where it's scanning the storm. Now you're looking 11,000 feet up in the sky.
You're picking up more hail. That's a lot of that pink stuff.
Right. Well, this is more than likely debris.
Right.
Actually, there wasn't a lot of hail with these storms. Right. So what you're seeing here is more than likely debris from Mayfield.
Debris lofted up to 11,000 feet in some cases.
This right here, Mark, is what we call a beware, bounded weak echo region. You're essentially looking into the eye of the tornado's updraft.
Fascinating.
And that's why the reflectivity drops down. Now, for what most people want, they're going to want surface level reflectivity. You don't care what's going on 5,000 feet above your head. You want to know what is the most realistic. Even if you don't have all the fancy radar tools, I just want to give you the ability to interpret what you're seeing on screen. And that's really all you need to know. So right here, again, this is a very, very textbook-like storm. So even just on reflectivity, you can see that debris ball.
And there's different products too. The VIL, which is the vertically integrated liquid, helps you understand potential hail, and sometimes it'll even tell you hydrometeor classification, what it could likely be.
I don't know if the hybrid is, it is archived. Wow. So this is telling me there's some hail and rain in there. That's what that red color is. This is the green is heavy rain. Sometimes you'll see large hail, giant hail, and then you'll have unknown types. And on there, let me see. Where's my accumulation product? Here we are. This product here tells me how much rain has fallen. This is your accumulation. So,
and Brad, you can mouse over or use your finger on your iPhone and just move over stuff. It's pretty intuitive. RadarScope's done a great job over the years.
Right.
And just full disclosure, they're not a sponsor. They're not paying us to talk about them. I've been a paying customer for years and years and years. I think it's like $10 a year for my level. The Pro goes higher. And we have that on our desktop. But it is a great product. Phil wants to know, here, I'll pop it up. I think we can do that. Yes. So is the radar showing a second tornado on the other side, perhaps?
So over here,
just north of Mayfield.
No. So this is the backside of the supercell. And what you're seeing here is just additional rain that's wrapping around the backside of the hook.
Right.
How do I know that? So I'm going to go ahead and pull up velocity.
Yep. You can see that velocity.
See, there's not really anything there.
Right.
So I would be paying attention to this area here. There's not really that area where the greens are right up against the blues, like up in here. Sure. That is very concerning. This, not so much. Maybe some broad rotation. I mean, is it possible this storm had some satellite tornadoes? Absolutely. Some of these larger ones can. But there's nothing that jumps out at me that tells me, okay, we need to be looking at a possible satellite wrapping around this thing.
Right. Yeah, we'll have to dig into this more, especially once we get into severe weather season and we do our own live coverage, whether or not we're out in the field. We'll have that. It'll give us good practice for when we are out in the field and for when we do hurricane coverage. But yeah, appreciate. I know CJ, you got meetings and stuff coming up at the top of the hour, so we will get ready to say our goodbyes. But appreciate Brad texting me. Any questions you guys ever have, especially if you're on our Discord, ask away, and we can talk about all kinds of things, especially on Tech Tuesdays when we address things technical in nature. Sometimes our tech, sometimes somebody else's. In this case, it was RadarScope. So
no problem.
There you go. You got a thanks from Brad, OBX drone guy. I hope that helped a little bit, Brad. And the next time I'm out there, buddy, we'll go over it ourselves. And we got to get those new cams put up. They got Starlink now out on the Rodanthe Pier. All kinds of good stuff coming as we get ready to get into spring severe weather and then eventually hurricane season. All right. So I think that's about it for today. One thing we learned yesterday is once we say our bye, then we anybody who is a Smartless fan, bye. Anyway, now I'll get a letter from Jason Bateman saying I can't use that. Again, that would be awesome if I get a letter from Jason Bateman, even if it's a cease and desist. You can't use
it'll still have his signature.
Right. But what we did learn, and somebody told us this, I think it was Howard, that we get cut off if we don't let the buffer part trail away. So before we wrap things up, we are going to do some practicing. Maybe, I don't know what you're doing later tonight, CJ, but we can come in and see, is it the Google Street View that keeps throwing everything off? I want to learn these bugs. I want to get them out of there, figure out how to mitigate these things and get the show to just be smooth. And we will get there. So we appreciate everybody's patience as we're learning this new interface. I think it's going to be far superior to Zoom.
It already is.
And we've already fired Zoom. So we can't, go back and dump, hey, Restream, and let me get my money back. I'm going to put it back into Zoom. Doesn't work that way. So thanks for hanging in there with us as we learn this new way of doing things and the bells and whistles that CJ has set up. Eventually, I will be a maestro in here, and you just won't even notice. Stuff will pop up and go away, and it'll be like we're in a big billion-dollar network, but we're not.
Exactly.
So, all right. Well, CJ, thanks for hanging out with me. Absolutely. Thank you all. And tomorrow, it's Whatever Wednesday. I'll come up with something interesting to talk about with you fine folks, and I hope you join us again. Remember, it's every day, unless we say otherwise, 10 a.m. Eastern time, talking weather. I am Mark Sudduth. That's CJ Morgan. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.
Yes, sir.